alopecia, and that is hair loss. I used to have so thin hair that it was actually almost embarrassing to go to the barber to get a haircut because there was almost nothing to cut at this point. And after a few years of doing some different approaches to hair density and how to regain some hair, well, I got to where I am today. Nevertheless, in this video we are going to take a look. If you are worried about hair loss, you might even have noticed a bit of thinning around the temples or just want to get ahead of potential loss of density, but you don't know if you are old enough to start the treatment and if it's a good idea at this point at all. Stay tuned, we will go over the different options you might have at your disposal for fighting off hair loss. If you're new to my channel, my name is Philippe and I run Alphamode and I suffer from androgenic alopecia, and that is hair loss. I used to have so thin hair that it was actually almost embarrassing to go to the barber to get a haircut because there was almost nothing to cut at this point. And after a few years of doing some different approaches to hair density and how to regain some hair, well, I got to where I am today. Nevertheless, in this video we are going to take a look at what compounds you can use at different ages. Keep in mind, this is not medical advice, this is only for entertainment and your education. You should always consult a doctor before doing any kinds of crazy stuff to yourself. Hair loss is usually caused by androgens in men. And the most notorious androgen that we produce is a derivative of testosterone called DHT or dihydrotestosterone. DHT is caused for over 95% of all stages of hair loss in men, and most men will experience hair loss from DHT at some point in their life. But DHT plays an important role in your body when we are young, and we certainly don't want to mess with this hormone in an early stage, since DHT is also the hormone that is naturally responsible for making young guys go from boys into men. DHT is what causing your voice to deepen. It's also responsible for making your beard start growing and chest hairs and a lot of other stuff. DHT is actually also what determines a lot of your Johnson size down there. So keep that in mind, that this thing goes for a long time, and well, the fertilizer you should think of DHT as the primary fertilizer for this. If you want to know more about how DHT works for men, I have linked 2 studies down below that shows what happens if you don't have enough DHT in your body while growing up. I can give you a hint. Micro penises is a real thing, and if you don't have DHT at all in your body when you're born, doctors sometimes actually think you're a girl. So now we have established that we need DHT when growing up. But at some point you are grown enough and your body doesn't need DHT anymore. This is when DHT stops giving you a full beard, a deep voice and a massive down there. And instead it starts messing with your precious hairline, and this is when we actually can throw away that shitty hormone in the trash with our squeaky voice and the hairless chest. But when are we grown up enough so that we actually can start manipulating our DHT to fight off hair loss? Well, according to National Health Service in UK, you can actually start taking Finasteride when you are 18 years old. But in my personal opinion, that is almost as retarded as doing steroids at that age. I took a look at some studies with serum estradiol to extrapolate when you might experience that your DHT starts to decrease. And most studies shows that this happens around age 25. DHT starts to decline, testosterone starts to decline, and estradiol begins to raise. This would be, in my personal option, be the better time to start taking Finasteride, since your endocrine system starts to show signs of de-accelerated need for DHT. Hence your body is done doing what it needed the DHT from. From here on, DHT is more or less obsolete, and in my case this is where I would start doing Finasteride or dutasteride if I still were 25 though. So you should wait until age 25 with taking Finasteride, but you really want to start preventing hair loss as soon as possible. So what are the other options? Well, my personal favorite would always be RU58841. Now keep in mind, this drug has not been developed any further than when it stopped being researched over 20 years ago. But a ton of men have already stated on different forums and different places that they actually had amazing results reversing their hair loss with this compound. The whole reason why you're able to take RU58841 before turning 25 is simply that RU58841 only targets the receptor in your scalp, or wherever you decide to apply it. And from here on, it only blocks the receptor that your DHT was going to bind to in your scalp, which basically is how you start to lose your hair after 20 years or so. The whole difference from Finasteride and RU58841 is that RU58841 only targets the receptors in your scalp, while Finasteride targets the hormone in your whole body. So DHT will still be present, it is just going to get blocked from your hair and not the rest of your body, so it can still do its thing there. I have a few videos on how to apply RU58841 or pyrolutamide if you decide to go with that compound. If you don't know where to start, my suggestions for those who are new in this area is buy the 50 milligrams pre-made RU58841 from anywhere you like. Although you can get a 10% discount at Anagenic if you use the code Alphamode at checkout. It is also the manufacturer of most product that I use, but you can in theory pick any place you like. Just be careful about scammers. So if the price seems too good to be true, it probably is. Now when you have your pre-made RU58841, it is fairly simple. Apply 1 milliliter each night before bedtime. Rub it into your scalp and go to bed. The next morning, wash the remainder from your hair, style it or do whatever you do and get on with your day. Keep in mind that a better combo is Finasteride and RU58841 combined, but I would suggest that you wait until age 25 or above before you start messing with your hormones. If you like this kind of content, you know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.